Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to the new episode of Football Unplanned. And today, as per schedule, we're going to bring you predictions of a new game week of the Premier League. Unfortunately, Patrick today is not with me, but he will be back for the new episode that we will probably drop in 2 or 3 days. So, enough with the stalling, and let us begin with the 7-week predictions.
Release the Kraken!
So the first match to start up this game week is 1:30 kickoff between Crystal Palace and Liverpool. Last season Liverpool managed to win in London, but they lost one of the deciding matches when they were still fighting for the title at the end of the season, 1-0 on Anfield. This season they have started really well and they are currently leading in the Premier League with 5 wins and only 1 loss against Nottingham Forest, while Crystal Palace still doesn't have a win. They have 3 draws and 3 losses. For both sides, there are no major concerns with injuries, so they should be playing at their best. And for this one, I'm gonna tip a hard 1-2 win for Liverpool. They had a match in the Champions League during the week against Bologna, which they won. But I think that maybe because of that, they're not gonna go like 100%, and I think the Crystal Palace will manage to sneak in a goal by, I guess, Eze probably. But still, like, Liverpool is too good of a squad to lose this one, and I'm tipping Jota and Salah to score. And the second match of the 7th game week and the first match of the 4 o'clock kickoffs is a big match between Arsenal and Southampton. One of the teams is a champion contender and the other teams is struggling with only 1 point so far. So Arsenal actually only won 1 out of last 4 matches versus Southampton, but since that time situation has changed a lot. Arsenal is now a much different team and Southampton just got back from the championship, and although they are playing some nice on the eye football, they are still failing to put the ball back into the net. Arsenal did have also a match in the Champions League, which they won 2-0 against Paris Saint-Germain, and I think even though they still have some injury issues with Odegaard and potentially even Ben White and some other defenders, they're gonna make an easy case out of Southampton. It's gonna be 3-0 win. And our next match is match between Brentford and Wolverhampton. So in this matchup previous season, both teams won their matches away from home. But this year, I think it's going to be a home win, and I think the Brentford is just about to edge this like 2-1 win. Wolves did have like a really tough start of the season. They only have 1 point, but we really need to take into consideration the opposition they were playing against. So they were playing against really tough teams, and that's, well, not the best way how to get into the season when you're already needing points in every match. So like Brentford match is something where they are supposed to get some points now. Brentford will still be without Mbeumo and a lot of other players who are missing for already a longer time, and I think they're still like have enough to get a win, but I wouldn't be surprised if a draw happens. And the final 4 o'clock kickoff is between West Ham and Ipswich. West Ham, even though, in my opinion, did good job in the summer market, they are still not playing their best football. Last week I said that if they lost their match, they're gonna sack Lopetegui, and I think the same is on the cards if they somehow lose to Ipswich. Ipswich is, well, let's say, new Luton, like Luton of this year. They only have 2 defeats, and both defeats are against the title contenders, Liverpool and Manchester City. They are a tough opposition to beat, definitely, and they're still flying high on their promotion horse. Still, I think I'm gonna have to back West Ham in this one, and I'm gonna go for a 2-1 win. And the next match is gonna be one between Leicester and Bournemouth. On one side, Leicester proved to be a tough opposition for everyone. Last game day, they managed to really make a difficult task of Arsenal beating them. They conceded 2 goals in the extra time and they lost the point, but they managed to climb back from 2-0 deficit. So I think they're going to be really a tough cookie, and out of all the teams that got promoted last season, they are my favorites to have a good chance to stay up, actually. Bournemouth, on the other side, is now, well-established Premier League club. They managed to survive their first season, and now they're looking better and better as the years pass. In the last match, they beat Southampton 3-1 pretty convincingly, and their biggest signing, Evan Nilsson, finally managed to start scoring, so he got his first Premier League goal. And I think that this match is actually gonna end in a draw, like it's gonna be 1-1 or 2-2. I can see actually like Leicester holding back Bournemouth. Our next match is between title holders Manchester City and a team that has started the season in a really good manner, Fulham. So even though on the paper this is a match between currently second placed team and sixth placed team, this is going to be a really, well, I won't say easy win, but still it will be a win for Manchester City. When we look through the history, we would have to go back to 2011, when it was the last time that Fulham actually managed to take some points off Manchester City. So even though they're going to play without Ake, they're going to play without De Bruyne and Rodri, still I think they're going to do enough to secure probably a 3-1 win. And our last match of the Saturday is between Everton and Newcastle at Goodison Park. So, last week Everton managed to get their first win, and Newcastle was held to 1-1 draw against Manchester City. Newcastle is still gonna be without Alexander Isak and Steve Botman. That is a huge miss for them, but I still think that they will be able to actually get all the 3 points. Last season they managed to get only 1 point in both matches, though I have to say their 3-0 loss last year at Goodison Park was in the peak of their injury crisis, when they just fielded a lot of junior players on the pitch. So I think it will be different this time, and it's going to be 1-3 win for Newcastle, and I think that Anthony Gordon is going to score against his former team, so that's my bold prediction for this week. And on Sunday we have 3 matches, and first of them is going to be between Aston Villa and Manchester United. So literally we have teams that are in completely different mood coming into this game week. Aston Villa is flying high after their fantastic victory over Bayern München in Champions League, and United is again disappointed in their fans. They drew 3-3 against Porto, and Ten Hag out crowd is getting louder and louder. I think that that might like trigger a surprise probably, but I'm gonna do a safe bet here. I'm gonna say it's gonna be an Aston Villa win, 2-1, and Duran is again gonna score off the bench. That guy is simply in amazing form, and I think the only reason he's not starting is because they want to play with only one attacker, and well, Ollie Watkins is very hard to bench, but really he's absolutely one of the informed players at the moment in the entire world, not just Premier League. Our next match is between 2 really pleasant surprises this season, Chelsea and Nottingham Forest. Chelsea is on a 5 games winning streak in all of the competitions, and they managed to win their European match easily. Also in that match they managed to rest some of the important players, because let's be honest, they have like 92 players on the roster, so for them it's not a big problem. Nottingham Forest last weekend had their first defeat versus Fulham, and I think that this week they're gonna get their second defeat. I think Chelsea is gonna win like with 2-1. I'm really impressed with how they're playing actually, because some of the players that were not good last season, like Nicholas Jackson, are starting to prove their worth, and Sancho is completely rehabilitated. I think he always brings a great spark off the bench, and if he's starting, and I see him playing much more freely than he used to play for United. So I guess that we're gonna get a Borussia Dortmund version of him and not Manchester United version of him. And we're gonna finish the game week 7 with the last match between Brighton and Tottenham, two teams that are next to each other on the table so far, and they are coming in a bit of a different spirit. Brighton doesn't have a win in the last 4 Premier League matches. They started with 2 wins, but after that they kinda dropped their form. And Tottenham didn't start all that hot, but they are now on a decent run of form. The difference is that they had to play on the midweek match against Ferencváros in Europe. They managed to rest few players and they managed to get all the 3 points there, but I think that wasn't such a great match for them. They went 1-0 down, but the goal was disallowed and it was literally centimeters between that. They managed to score 2 goals off of horrible defensive errors from the Hungarian side, and I wasn't impressed. Let's leave it at that. But I'm gonna go with a draw here. I'm gonna sit on a fence and I'm gonna say that somehow Brighton is gonna get a point. I think there's gonna be few goals there, and I'm tipping a 2-2 draw. So yeah, guys, this was it for this week. It was a short and sweet episode. In the comments, let me know what do you think about these matches. Who do you think is gonna be the surprise of the week? And as always, if you enjoyed our content, like the video, subscribe to our channel, and see you guys later.